Hey everybody, welcome to one more round. Today I'm super excited. I've got Matt Stein, serial entrepreneur, and we're going to talk about a lot of fun things from an entrepreneurial side. He's got a cool story. He used to play hockey. But before we get into it, just remember if there's anything that you find of value in this throughout the show, make sure to share it with a friend. Put it on your story on Instagram, Facebook. It's much appreciated. That's how we spread the news and get a greater audience for guys like Matt that we come in, we bring value. We've got my co-host Eric here. So, thanks for being on today, Matt.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, this is fun because you and I, we just met like 2 weeks ago, I think it was.
Yeah, in Danny's book club.
Yeah, Danny's book club. So, the Big Brain Book Club, I think is what we're calling it. Yeah. And it's funny because Danny, I remember him calling me. I think I was at Oso Brewery, and he had called me after meeting a friend of mine. He's like, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting a book club. Do you want to start a book club?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, that sounds fun." And this is like back in I think November or so, and I know he reached out to a few people, and it's cool because we're all big readers, right? And I think you've already read the book, or at least listened to the book that we're currently reading now. So would I. It's called Traction for those of you guys who want to check it out. But it's like you get so many more nuggets when you're reading it, even today for me 2 years later, because I'm in a very different place in business. So it's pretty cool that we connected, and you told me a little bit of your story. But what I resonated with me right away was your Elite restaurant app. And for those of you guys here in Arizona, you might even know it, but it's super cool. It had all these restaurants, and you got to go into these restaurants. And I believe it was 2 times you could use the discount per restaurant, and it was the greatest thing. That's what introduced me to High Tide in Gilbert. Was your app, because I went there the first time, and it was significant savings too.
Free entree.
Yeah, so with that, like how did you get started in the entrepreneurial world, and then we'll kind of like digress and go to your hockey days and that kind of thing.
All right. So entrepreneurism was always in me. I like to say, since the first time I went to this arcade that was like a nickel arcade, and we found a machine that was spitting out tickets, and so we used and abused that machine and got all these tickets, and then we went to the little thing and cashed in our tickets for candy, and then we went and set up a candy shop out in the street.
Nice.
So from a very young age, I was an entrepreneur. As far as the professional journey of that, had my first marketing agency in 2009. That got me into the whole business world, and we got exposure to a lot of companies that wanted our services, that said, hey, trade us services for equity in the company. And so we did that for a while and got involved in a couple, and then started up a couple of our own.
What was that like giving up basically your pay, right, for equity in the company that you don't know if it's going to make it or not?
Yeah.
Is it a little scary, or did you have like a lot of risk aversion back then, or was it just kind of go for it and do whatever you need to?
No, it was great because we had a good solid business, and so that was just adding on top. And with the marketing agency, you're always trading time for money, is what I like to say. And so what I wanted to do is create that opportunity for upside wealth in the future, and I knew that was going to be done through equity. And so, we were okay with taking our shots.
Yeah. So what was it like, your first couple of deals negotiating that? Or did you have prior experience, or was it just kind of your first time winging it?
No, we just kind of jumped in and got our hands dirty and, kind of did whatever, took whatever. We didn't really know what our value was at that point in time. And so we just kind of learned as we went and, got involved on a few deals.
Yeah. What was your first deal? You remember your first deal that you did?
Let's see. First deal would have been a concept called True Vote. It was a political based platform that helped map out your landscape of politicians. It was called Your True Vote because we were going to source all of the legislation that was happening that affected your particular area, and then share that with the constituents in that area, and then have you vote on it. That was our first kind of play. And that deal worked out good from an equity standpoint, but we never fully executed and got it to market. But we went through, an incubator. I became a founder, so I got, a third equity for my company, which was, I think, a very favorable deal.
Yeah.
But then we ran it. We tried to raise capital. We went through a program called Seed Spot, kind of a little venture entrepreneur incubator.
Kind of like a Shark Tank, but not on TV type of thing, or different?
Yeah, they've been around for a while. They don't give you any funding, so they kind of teach you all the principles over the course of 4 months, get you set up to raise capital or progress on. So we went through that, connected with some amazing folks, had some amazing mentors from it. but we never had the money to build out the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we had tons of interest. We were front page of the Phoenix Business Journal. Again, picked up some really great mentors from that, but that was that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you went on and had a few more ventures like that with the agency.
Yep.
At what point did Elite come into play?
Elite was there almost simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Elite was there in the background simultaneously, and then when I realized we weren't going to be able to build a product because investors weren't investing in ideas, they were investing in products.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a technical person to build it out. We didn't raise enough money to get a full product launched. That was a big mistake. Lesson learned on the first one. We'd raised about $50,000 in that project, and we were going to, supposedly be backed by one of the owners of the Diamondbacks and this and that. We had all this hype going.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, cool, we're going to build the whole entire platform. No, don't do that. Build an MVP with the money that you have. So we learned that lesson. That was a hard lesson to learn, but a valuable one for any of you.
What is an MVP for those people that don't know?
Oh, good. Minimum viable product.
Got it.
Yeah, so something that your user base can use that they may or may not be able to pay you money for, but they can use it. You can pick up traction on your platform, and then at that point, professional investors will take a look.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And some of the notes you sent me yesterday, you said at the height you had 5,000 members that were on the app or users of the app.
In Elite, yeah.
In Elite.
Yeah.
That's a difficult thing to do, to grow users of an app. Like, what was your strategy? What did you guys find that worked? What did you find that didn't work?
Yeah. So with Elite, so that was true what we were just talking about that didn't make it into market. But then with Elite, when we got that up and going, that was happening kind of the same time as TrueVote.
Mm-hmm.
Realized that wasn't going to go, so we put all of our efforts into Elite. It was getting very tactical in the beginning, guerrilla marketing. Connecting with influencers, connecting with nonprofit galas. We would sponsor nonprofit galas and donate, 200 of our memberships to a gala.
Mm-hmm.
So we got really involved in the nonprofit world, which is, we can chat about later, but a cool path. Just anybody in the food industry, just individuals, business owners. We were selling our memberships to real estate agents. The Lexus car dealership, Optima.
Mm-hmm.
We just had getting creative food events. We would go out to like the taco festival, just anywhere we could go get exposure or go get a booth, network. We were just hustling.
Yeah, I remember there was 2 times that I'd seen you, and obviously I didn't know you back then, so I didn't know it was your company. But the first time was at this food festival at the Botanical Gardens out here that they do every year. It was really cool because they had all like these high-end restaurants, and they would basically take like their best dishes and bring it out so you get to try everything.
Yeah. Devour.
Yeah, That was it. Yeah. And I remember that day you guys had a little spinny wheel.
That's right.
And I spun the spinning wheel, and sure enough, I won a year free membership.
There you go.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I'm known to win lots and lots of things, which blessed on that, right? But I once I downloaded it, I'm like, this is super cool. And then at the time, I used to be tied in with Networking 360. I'm not sure if they're still around, but I know they're doing something similar with HOA.com, which I used to be affiliated with. But they had the same guy that was out there. I think your partner, and he was doing this thing, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And so I started to see it, and then once I used it, I'm like, this is genius. So you grew it. I think COVID. What happened during COVID time?
Yeah, so we were growing. We had over 100 restaurants on the platform at our peak. We had over 5,000 members, and then COVID came around and just changed the whole game for us.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the restaurants were mom and pop, hidden gems as we like to call them, and a lot of them went out of business, and a lot of them couldn't afford to give away free entrees anymore, which was, as you know, the big hook.
Mm-hmm. And
so a lot of them had to cancel the program. And so we got with our lead investor at that point and chatted it through, and he did very well in 2020. He was with UBS, I think, and made some good moves in the stock market, had a great year. And we looked at it and we said, do we want to reinvest a bunch of time, money, energy into this, or do we want to call it a day? And we said, it's probably time to move on. Yeah, but it was a super fun project. Got to meet amazing people from it. And it really, kind of helped. It was a good chapter in my life that helped build the foundation for, kind of what's next.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about the people that you probably met during that time, or I'm sure you probably still in touch with them. You might even be doing business with some of them in different ways, right?
Yeah.
So it's like those things that kind of come to an end that you can kind of get a little nostalgic or like, okay, I don't know how I feel about this. The way I've always tried to look at it, it's like when it comes to an end, it's like, no, this is great. That chapter's closed, but the next chapter, I've got all of these tools and these people that I now know that I can create a better chapter, going forward.
Yeah.
So what are you doing now? Like, what's the passion project at the moment?
Yeah, so we took kind of, I guess, my marketing background and a customer that we had with Elite, Optima, and they said, oh, we don't want you to go away, can you still do something for us? And so we got creative and we said, okay, what are you doing for your new residents moving in? And we came up with this gift box idea to have their local residents or get local businesses into these boxes to give to the residents. So to get exposure, so like Oso's in there, you move in, you open up the box, and you got an Oso growler, and you get to go fill it up and experience local businesses.
That's cool.
Yeah,
and it's like a benefit on both sides, right? Because you got these new people that are sometimes moving into the area that don't know the local businesses. You're introducing there, and then you got the local businesses that are going to get them to patronize their business or be a patron of the business, right?
Yep.
And then it's like just a free value add for the apartment complex. I mean, not free, but a great value add for it. So was that like guerrilla marketing too, or you just like knocking on doors with these luxury apartment complexes, or?
No, so we had our cornerstone customer already, which was Optima, which was awesome, and so we basically just continued the relationship on and adapted it to their needs and what we had access to, which is kind of nice to create a company that way versus just
ground and pound.
Yeah.
Which we've all done.
Yeah,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, door to door.
Yep. Yeah, we were just talking about that. So I had a call with one of our account executives on the East Coast, and he's a really good account exec, but he was like, how can I get more appointments? Do you have any ideas? And he had some ideas, and they were great. So, well, let me just tell you how I got started in Gannett. Let me tell you what my day-to-day was. And it was either Sunday or Monday, I would plan out, cool, these are the categories of business in this area, my territory, that we're going to go see. So at this time, it was like furniture stores, dental, all these things. I would map out who I'm going to go see, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, I would go and I would hammer the market. I would go out and just walk in, and at the time, so Gannett owned Arizona Republic, and I made a joke earlier that like they were a little more on the left leaning, so if it was a really conservative person I'm walking in, they hate me already. But it's all right. You just smile and you shake hands, and eventually you show the value of what it can do for you. But like, you pound the pavement, you do these types of things, and that's how you get customers. But it's nice that you didn't really have to do it as much this time because you had a built-in network. Which is what it's all about. It's like you're building a personal brand that kind of exceeds you before you ever walk in a room, which is nice. Yeah. And I know you and I were talking about you've had like a pretty crazy personal journey recently. Yeah,
so May 14th of last year I was wake surfing, which was new to me. I've done wakeboarding, but not wake surfing, and I got kind of pulled under the wave, but kept the board up, and super amount of tension on my bicep, and partial tear in the bicep, partial tear in the pec, and couldn't move my arm for about 8 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and I mean we'll talk about. I know in hockey you said you had a couple things, but what was that pain like? I mean, I would imagine excruciating.
Yeah. So when it first happened, that like shock factor kicks in. So I was kind of laughing it off as dumb hockey players do, and it's like, okay, like it's hurt, it's messed up, but I'm gonna try it again. So I actually got up and tried it again.
Oh wow,
yeah.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
And tore pec, which the next day was black and blue, I assume.
Yeah, it looked like
a
snake tattoo through my arm from the striation of the bruise.
Yeah, those are hard to heal.
Yeah.
Those are brutal. Oh, yeah. Well, if it's the whole pec, it'll just be black and blue right into here.
Yeah.
But you tore it in the insertion point, I assume, right?
Yeah, so like this tendon right here pulled through the pec.
And you got back up and did it again. How'd you hold it? You knew when you tried it again.
I knew, yeah.
Probably not going to do that again.
Yeah. I couldn't even get back onto the boat. I had to have the guys pull me up.
Oh, those hurt. They're serious.
Yeah, it's no picnic. And then so like you get the shore, and then you go on this rehab, basically of everything. So, like, tell us about that.
Yeah. So that journey was driven by 3 different things. I jumped into 75 Hard program, Andy Frisella's program. It's amazing. If you haven't heard of it, check it out. I know you have, but
Yeah.
So I 3 reasons I wanted to get back in shape as quickly as possible. I had a couple situations in business that didn't work out, and I realized I was attracting the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third was questioning my relationship with alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
I was drinking a lot during that time because I had this injury, and I wasn't working out, so I'm not getting the fulfillment from that.
You're trying to kill time. I get it. Yeah.
And so I said, all right, I want to make myself better.
Mm-hmm.
And so let me explore this, self-development, betterment path. And so I jumped into 75 Hard, did that, and then that spun off a whole, realm of personal development and growth.
Were there any books during that time that like kind of really changed your mindset?
Yep. Meaningful work helped me find what I think is going to be my life's work,
Mm-hmm.
passion project. And then Gary Keller's The One Thing was also a really good read during that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing I admire about the 75 Art, like I've never done it. I'm part of Ed and Andy's the RT Syndicate. And I love the program. I've just never felt compelled to do it, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But like I know a lot of people that have done it, and what I always ask is the same question, like, well, what books did you read during this? Because it forces people to do something that most people aren't. Not that you probably weren't a reader before, but when you literally have to read 10 pages every single day, I mean, that adds up to 750 pages, so you're talking at least probably 4 books, I would say, on average.
Yeah.
Most people don't read 4 books in a decade, and that's a sad statement, but it's true.
Yeah.
But when you're reading that in 75 days, and you kind of get that as a habit, like, he and I are avid readers, and he's always flipping me a book. Hey, check this out. I'll talk to him about something. And
Well, I always tell him. He gives me the book. I go, they ripped that off from these books that we, because nothing's original.
Yep.
It's just, but it's nice to see them repackaged and stuff,
Yeah.
Think and Grow Rich is the most ripped off book ever, probably.
Yeah.
But, I have the original Laws of Success, the original version.
Okay.
Slow reading for people like me.
Mm-hmm.
And, but, you can see it, and then it gets translated, and then I think I gave you Success Principles by Jack Canfield. So he took the Law of Success and put it in English, basically.
Yep.
And it's awesome. Everybody in your sales team and all that, give it to everybody, all the young people. It's great. And it's easy. And it's just but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing. And
were you like big into self-development like prior to all this, or?
Yeah, I've gone through different stints of that
throughout
my life, but I was lacking in it at the time. And also I was really, one of the business things that I challenged in myself was, I'm just kind of chasing after money without meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, selfish and not selfless. And so I said, what can I do here to change that, viewpoint on how I'm going about this? And that's kind of kicked it off. But once I got going, it's addictive. I have a bit of a obsessive personality.
Mm-hmm.
And so once I got in, I kept going. I mean, I sent you the whole thing. That's kind of my own version of 75 Hard,
Mm-hmm.
My Stein Hard, if you will.
Yeah.
And, it's just geeking out on diet, nutrition, routines, mental, every aspect of life.
it's a great time for you guys, though. It's a great time because this is all theory. Because I'm 56.
Okay.
It was all theory.
Yep.
Now there's so much actual science in there, and there's so many hacks on, Dave Asprey came out with bulletproof coffee. I started doing that like 10 or 12 years ago.
Yep.
And I remember the first time I went, butter
Yep.
in my coffee. But I remember MCT will pass the blood-brain barrier. You're ready to roll in the morning, and you're clear, and things that were hard to do aren't hard anymore. And now you look at nutrition, there's fasting, there's ketogenic, and now they can go, you shouldn't be on ketogenic, but you should be on it. And all that, they're getting it really defined, and I think it's a really cool time. Nutrition was so complicated. I remember I started nutrition was Arnold Schwarzenegger's bodybuilding encyclopedia. I still have the original one. It's all tore up and stuff.
Nice.
Here's the problem. Arnold wanted us to eat 7,000 calories.
That's right.
So it was great. And they used to make this Weeder amino acid. It was in a white bottle. Not even packaged very good back then.
Yeah.
And it was orange. And it literally smelled like vomit, rotten eggs.
Oh.
And we would put that in there. And you'd put it in there just to get your calories in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why were we eating 7? Now I know because I'm in fitness centers, what's your we were talking about protein ratio. Back then it's like the 3-to-1 and stuff. You can't process all that. Now all that information's out to you guys, and people. You don't have to be a meathead. You don't have to be even a fitness guru to get really, really super good results. It's really cool.
So what was it for you? Like, did you pick a specific diet? I mean, I know you've been hacking a little bit. What have you found that's worked well for you?
So I ate pretty healthy in general. I cut out any fried foods and a lot of sugar. I love chocolate. And so cut out all desserts, all sugars, that I could to some extent. And but no French fries, no fried chicken sandwiches, all things that I love. And then just kind of, even like I love mochas, right? But I started making my own. That was like a bulletproof mocha.
Nice.
I've got this mushroom complex with chocolate and sea salt and MCT oil and ghee butter and just kind of coconut milk. And just kind of made my own thing. Just dialed it in on everything I was eating, everything I was putting in my body, dialing it in. And then the massive one, alcohol. Not drinking for close to 7 months now. Yeah. Like, I drank a good amount, and that materializes and metabolizes not in a good way for your body.
Alcohol's usually about 8 to 10 pounds off when I decide if I get rid of it. That's basically what it equates to.
I'd say that's about accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're empty calories.
Yep.
I mean, I know, if he and I are out, we're having fun or whatever, and we have, whatever, more wine than we ever should after golf or something.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, 1,000, 1,100 calories. It literally does nothing. My body isn't doing anything but saying, spike insulin, store everything, and it's like, granted, you don't do that every day, but like still, even if it's 2 times a week, that's 2,200 calories.
Well, it's really, there's a book, and I wish I could remember the name. I'll get it so you can put it out. But it was basically this. He was a fighter, he was a UFC fighter, and he went to all the countries and fought in all these different styles. But he was talking about when he wasn't drinking and when he was getting ready for a fight, how one drink in training, what he would have to do to overcome that little amount of alcohol when he was trying to hit peak performance.
Yep.
It was amazing.
Is it Boss Rutan maybe?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Boss,
yeah.
It was amazing. And it's true when you really think about it.
Yep.
Like right now, if you drank, you would feel really probably terrible.
Yeah.
Really quick. You'd be high first.
Yeah.
And then
great at first.
You'd be, your veins, like go to the gym. Yeah. And then the crash would come. But that was.
I would eat something. That would be the next step. I'd go to Los Betos and have a
you're gonna get
California burrito.
Yeah, big old burrito.
There's 900 calories.
Yeah.
Just like that too.
And then have horrible sleep.
Yeah.
And then,
well, that's it. I just read a whole article on that, and they broke it down. Like one drink costs you, your REM sleep goes down to 4, 2 you go to 2, 3 you go to like 1, and 4 you go to like 30 seconds or something like that. I just saw a peer review on that. It's like wow.
Yeah.
So did you notice like there were some triggers as you stopped drinking, like that, like, oh man, I'm normally drinking in this situation or whatnot, and like how did you avoid some of that stuff?
Yeah, so first on the fitness end of that, I was able to get down to a 5.7% body fat as of just like 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So that was pretty amazing.
That's great.
Yeah, stretch goal for myself is at some point in my life I would love for my age, just like some golfers do, I want to shoot my age at some point in my life. My body fat percentage, so let's say I'm like 45, to have it be at a 4.5. We'll see. That could happen.
5.7's pretty low.
It's very low.
Yeah, you have to get your meals in. You have to time your stuff to keep yourself from probably just about checking out.
Yeah. Well, actually, the funny thing is I eat a lot.
Yeah.
My body
for sure.
just processes and cranks through it. So.
Yeah. No sugar.
Yeah.
You eat dairy?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of dairy.
Yeah, I still love to eat. That's like one of my things. I love to cook. I love to eat, and I've just found creative ways to make good, like healthy meals that taste good still. And I'll still I'll go out to eat, and I'm not like so regimented. 24.
Well, at 5%, you need to cheat. Once in a while, you got to cheat.
Yep.
You don't. And the cool thing is, you're so far on this journey.
Yep.
You're going to only cheat at about a 30% clip that you would before, because your brain
That's
can't
right.
allow you.
Yeah.
You just can't do it.
You're eating one cookie, not 3.
Yeah.
Or you're having or you wrap your burger and it's a big old sloppy burger and you throw cheese. You know what I mean. And that's like he went through that transformation a few years ago, and once he got rolling, you could throw a piece of pizza and be like, I don't want it.
Yeah.
It's just no big deal. He always gets it wrapped. He always gets it on he's keto.
Okay.
And I'd say you're 98% of the time you're
Yeah, I mean,
right there.
I have one like cheat meal a week, and then other than that, I eat pretty much the same way. You know, mine too was booze. Like if anything I had extra on me, it was just booze. Like I work out every day, so it's like, you know, I've cut out, you know, booze quite a bit, you know, lately, and it's just like it's starting to shred. I'm also in an ab challenge right now, and I like to win things.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of the girls that's in it is like super fit.
Yeah.
I'm like, she ain't gonna beat me. So
Nice.
you know, I like a little extra motivation as well.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry,
it's
took
a
us off
sugar.
track there.
Yeah, no.
It's
we all
the
do.
sugar that really, once you get rid of the sugar, that's what
Yeah.
really hyper drives your system.
Yep.
You know, it's just the sugar, because it's just it's just the way you digest. The stomach just doesn't work with all the sugar in it.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
I mean, wheat thins. Listen to this: wheat thins, Ritz crackers, Frosted Flakes cereal. There's a bunch of them. Look it up. It just came out of the study. That they are banned in 5 countries.
Wow.
Because they have a substance called BHT in them, which causes cancer. And it's a staple in the American diet. In England, Germany, I can't remember the other country, it's banned.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I go, what?
Yeah.
And then you get into it, so you're eating that stuff, and then people are going, how do I get in shape, and why am I not losing weight? Well, what you're eating stuff in the middle of the grocery store, you know, and that's the reality of it. A lot of it's additives and stuff that, you know, it's like diet soda. You're better off drinking a sugar soda pop than a diet soda, because sugar pop has 3 ingredients in it. Diet soda has about 30. So what are you gonna put in your body? I mean, and people go, well, it's sugar. I go, that's mucking you up as much. So, you know, that's
how about just no soda at all?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, exactly. You know,
soda is one of those things. It's funny. I don't know if I ever told you this. I was I think I was 13 years old, and again, this is kind of the beginning of my health journey. 13 years old, there was no nutrition in my household. I worked out. You know, I played sports and all this. There was no nutrition. Like, you know, it's like, hey, have a Blizzard with some strawberries, and like that was nutrition. But I started to I didn't want to. You know, I don't mean to be a disservice or mean to my family. I didn't want to look like them, right? You know, I wanted to be able to be agile. I also want to be a great basketball player. So, anyway, I cut out like sweets, and I cut out soda, specifically at 13, which my parents thought I was nuts. They're like, because I used to drink, you know, 1 or 2 sodas every day, and I just like, cool, I'm cutting that out. Because I had read something, this is pre-internet, right? So I had probably either heard something at school, or somebody said something about sugar not being good. Probably my uncle was a bodybuilder, and always took very well, you know, care of himself. And I'm like, cool, I'm not drinking soda anymore. I didn't drink a soda for, I think the first time I drank a soda was when I was 25 years old, from that point on.
Wow,
and I had one, and I think it was like a rum and Coke, so it wasn't like I was just chugging down a soda. But like getting rid of that one little habit, I mean, I can't imagine how many thousands and thousands of calories that cut out of my life.
A lot, especially at that age, getting it out. Well, Willie used to drink regular soda, and I remember he went to diets, just made that switch, and he lost 20 pounds.
Wow.
Just by that one switch, which, you know, that's still, it's a better choice. It's not the best choice, like, you know, but it's a start, and you can get there. But yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, you know, just, you know, with vegetables. And what's cool now is there's so many cool things that you can buy. And the frozen side's not bad. That's cauliflower based, and you can make a stir fry. And you think you are eating stir fry, you know, and throwing chicken in it, and
cauliflower rice.
You know, your satiety's fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's just people just need to learn. They don't learn their triggers.
Yeah.
They don't. You know, I know mine.
Yeah.
Like, throw some ice cream in front of me, I have to run from it if I'm trying to not eat that stuff. Like, you know, I love like candy, you know, and that's, you know, I know what that trigger is, you know, and it's the sugar.
It is, it's a drug.
Yeah, it is. Like,
5.7, that's impressive though. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
7 months, that's a lot, man.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's 5 points. So you want to get lower than that, huh?
I don't know. It's just some stupid stretch goal that came into mind. You know, I don't know if I'll hit it or try for it, but I have my routines dialed in, and I know that I had that happen. That 5.7 was after my birthday week, and I have a couple other Capricorns that are very close to me, and so we had like 3 birthdays, like all within a week span. And, you know, there was some cake involved.
That's where the road meets the road right there.
Yeah, there was a couple pieces of pizza involved. There may have been a donut involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, you know, I don't know what the scientific part of it is, but I know when you really work on your nutrition, there's those times where you can literally, you know, my old business partner used to do 250 sets a week.
Yeah.
And we'd work out, and on Thursday we would walk from the club to Wendy's.
Yep.
Once a week.
Yeah.
And we get a small fry,
Frosty.
a double stack,
Yeah.
and a Frosty.
Yeah.
And I remember he would say, and he was in great shape. He'd say, "Thank you, Neil, for having this. I mean, this burger because." And yeah, he didn't gain nothing. Your body, you knew your body was effectively crushing that. It's like it needed salt fat.
Yep.
Because all that stuff's not bad. Now, you know, if you can do it with a lettuce wrap and all that, obviously we didn't do that back then. But it was very interesting to watch. You know, you see bodybuilders who are really low, like they eat that. We're throwing it down, it's gone. So there's, you know, there's a point where I think, you know, you need that. There's certain things your body will tell you, and you're probably in that point where you sense what you need.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, you can tell when your blood sugar starts to go off a little bit, and I'll run to the pantry and grab some almond butter stuffed pretzels. Just pop like 4 of those real quick. A Medjool date or 2, just to get that blood sugar.
Dates are great because they're slow burners.
Yeah.
And almond butter just with a spoon. I used to have a kid work for me. He was kind of built like you, very, very lean, and he had a whole jar of it in his bag.
Yeah.
And he'd eat it like to get through his training regimens and stuff. And he was pretty dialed in. Same thing.
Yeah, almond butter's, I love it. Like,
I do too. I'd see it raw.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like you don't need anything special. It doesn't need honey or anything. Just a little bit of almond butter.
But it's like almond milk. Is it really a milk? Is it really?
Well. I don't know.
I know. Almond milk. Yeah. There's a funny thing on Instagram. It's not milk.
Right.
It's not. There's no teats on it.
All I know is when I want to eat well, I can drink it unsweetened and it gets me by.
Yeah. So we had mentioned earlier in the episode that you played hockey, right? And you played actually up in Canada and all that stuff. Like, is that where some of your drive came from? How'd you get into the hockey world?
Yeah, I think so. At a young age, in Boston, that's the sport in Boston, and I was excelled at it. I made a citywide select team right before my parents told me we were moving to Arizona, and I almost
lots of hockey rinks out here.
Yeah,
lots of
them. We had that conversation about staying with the billet family. So at 13, I almost stayed behind.
Oh wow!
And pursued my career in hockey, but thankful that I didn't. I live a good life in Arizona while everybody else is back there freezing.
Yep.
Yeah, but so I was kind of look at myself I've always looked at myself as an athlete. Now I'm just an athlete of life, and that's driven by the purpose to do better for me and the people around me. And so now it's not fitness out of vanity, it's fitness out of being able to be the best version of me, have the most energy, get the best sleep, and really go out there and dominate life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and you hit on a great point. I've heard Ed Milet talk about this a little bit because he believes in being an athlete entrepreneur. And it doesn't mean that you're out there throwing the football every day or playing basketball, but you keep yourself in peak physical condition because you are the machine that drives the business. And I know a lot of people, a lot of people in business that don't stay in shape.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea how they do what they do on a daily basis mentally and physically without keeping the car clean. Now, that's his phrase. He always says, "Got to keep the car clean."
Well, they feel terrible.
Yeah.
That's the answer is really simple. They feel terrible. I mean, everything's hard.
Yeah.
Everything's hard. You see people I go to Las Vegas and we'll just sit there and play cards on a corner and watch people, or sit at the pool and just watch people. It's like people have vitamin D. Not enough vitamin D. It's the only vitamin that we make in the human body, and we're sure because they don't. They walk out, and they haven't got there's no sun on their body.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you just look at. They don't move. I mean, movement's the only way to stay alive. And but you look at it. You're exactly right though. It's just ultimately it's what happens. They have health problems. They pass away young and all that stuff. And it's just no way to keep going. I mean, that's my thing. Why I keep working out as hard as I do. I still put the bar on my back. I still squat. I still lift as heavy as I can.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking smack Tuesday to my trainer Nate, who's in phenomenal shape, and I was throwing the 80s around pretty good. Felt pretty good. Now I had to take the next day off because I got too excited and I was sore and really good sore. But I'm going to go until I can't go. I'll modify it if I have to, but I'm not going to until I do. I mean, I really believe in it, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, how many days a week, how many days did you work out in a row?
I was up in, I think, the 12, it was almost 1,200 before I had heart failure.
No days off.
Yeah, no, one day.
Not one day.
It was over 3 years, and it was, only reason I stopped is I ended up with heart failure last March.
Wow.
And I'm actually thankful for it now. Like, it's funny, he and I were going through it separate times, and, you know, it was a weird period of time, and certainly I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
Yeah.
However, now, like I think I've worked out like the last 16 days in a row, but I took a day off prior to that. I'll probably take a day off in the next week or two. I like working out, but I gotta let the car
I used to
heal
yell at
too.
him all the time. I go, anybody got too obsessed? I go, you gotta take it out. You gotta go in cycles.
But at that point, it's like I couldn't. I mentally, I just couldn't.
See, we used to always take, when we were really training, we would always take about 2 weeks off twice a year, like literally, and eat and, you know, and all that. That was kind of the, you know, the system back then. You know, Arnold or Lee Haney said to do it or something, who knows? And that's what we did. So, you know, you get that rest. So, you know, there's there's something in between that. I mean, I think you should do something every day. I mean, I just tell people walk at least.
Yeah.
Get your 2 miles in, 2 to 3 miles in. Just walk. You know, drink water. You know, I mean, people don't drink enough water. And there's so much available information.
You're at 100 ounces, I think, is what I saw.
100 is probably more. With 75 hard, it was a gallon a day, 128. But I realized, like, I was still going to the bathroom after I went to the bed. You know, so I'm like, I don't want to be getting up 2-3 times during the night. Now it's messing with my sleep, which is part of the mental toughness part of 75 hard. So I geared it down to about 100 ounces a day.
Well, when you're overtrained and all that stuff, when you're vibrating at night, you got to make some modifications. Because that's your body going, you're tripping me out. You know, it's like doing a really hard leg workout when you haven't been doing legs. And then all of a sudden, you know, when you're sore that like same day, you know, and you're like laying there, why didn't I sleep good? Well, you're fried. So you know that's hydration, but that's also, you know, knowing when you've overdone yourself a little bit.
When you know you've had a crazy leg day, you got that like mid-level headache that just like hits right as you're walking out. Like, all right, I'm gonna feel this in the next couple of days, but like that headache just starts to, you know, be annoying. So, you know, you have a really cool business now. We talked about it earlier. You're doing gifts. Like, how could a company utilize you? Like, where would they go, and, you know, to utilize your services?
So we are now connecting local businesses with the luxury apartment buildings. Is what our hypothesis is as we prove it out, and the hypothesis is that we can provide a better ROI for those companies. Because they're really creating several marketing touch points within a bubble. When you're in a gift box and then you do an event live at an apartment complex, you know, the apartment complex sends out a notification about the event. The thing in the box will have a QR code on it that they scan, takes you to a landing page. So you're learning more about this business. And it's all coming from the apartment complex. So right out of the gates, it's a gift, it's not advertising. And then 2, it's an endorsement from that luxury residence building.
So you're making them the heroes on the deal.
Basically. Yep. And we take over the apartment complex's job of doing events for them, basically.
Well, so you run them. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Like, we're bringing in a gym into Optima to do a high intensity training, and then bring a smoothie company with them. So to create that experience for the residents that provides value for the residents. But then also gets those belly-to-belly touch points for the local businesses to those residents. Get to experience their brand, taste their brand, try out their workout.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is great. We'll have to do this again for sure.
Yeah.
Guys, I know you got a ton out of this. Make sure to reach out to Matt. Honestly, if you have a company and you want to connect with high-end apartment complexes, people that would fit your ideal profile for customers, reach out to them, see what you guys can work out. If you got something out of this, which I know you did, please share it out. Appreciate it. Leave a comment for us and we'll answer. But thanks for tuning in. We will see you next time.